Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel and the underside of a Singer 201 Centennial badged machine that I have been overhauling. Now, I've talked to you all in a recent video about this little mechanism here. It's a beautifully designed piece and it basically allows the 201 to have feed dogs that are able to be lowered instead of going above with a linkage like you often see with a number of the 1950s or 60s sewing machines. This particular one has the control below. Now, the last time I was underneath this machine, I took my, let's see, what is this? This says La Tromba is the brand. They are not my sponsor. They make valve oil, which is actually sold in music shops here. And I find that as a very thin mineral oil or sewing machine oil, but it also has a solvent. This is not normal sewing machine oil. You would not use this to oil your machine because you're not actually using this for normal lubrication. This is actually something I have decided to use when I'm trying to loosen a machine. And it has, to my sensibilities, a little less odor than some of the penetrant oils. So basically I'm using it like a penetrant oil. So I had added some in here, and I basically put, and I want to point to this because notice right here where this thumb screw, it actually meets this piece right here, right? So these right there is where we want to see it to be turning against that piece. And then there's a piece of steel here that will also swivel because basically what has happened is the thumb screw is attached just like this. Like I'm holding a different thumb screw. This is the sewing machine foot thumb screw. But it works in a similar way. In fact, I don't even know, this may even be the same size, I'm not sure. No, the one that's in here is a little longer, but it's a similar, I believe it's the same threading. So what is happening is the threaded piece of this thumb screw, the one that's been stuck, basically goes through a hole through this piece here, and then it connects over here and it locks this piece in place. This piece should turn when we have, let's get a little zoom here, when we are wanting to lower the feed dogs. But right now, as you will recall, it was really stiff. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you. I've just put some right there and then some right there. And because this is thinner than sewing machine oil, like a penetrant oil, and it has a little bit of solvent in it, the idea is that I'm trying to get it to penetrate in between those pieces and loosen some of the oil. So what can you do? You can try turning it by hand. I can't turn it. You could try, although there is a better way. You have seen me do this in some situations where I have taken things like needle nose pliers or vice grips and covered whatever it is I'm trying to turn with a with some sort of cloth or fabric to protect it. I don't want to scratch up my screw. But in this situation, we don't have to do that. And here's why. If you're only looking at it this way, head on, you might miss this fact. But if you come over and you will see that we get a little less glare there. It might be, there we go. You will notice that there's a slot here, okay, for a straight head screwdriver tip. Aha. So I happen to have my screwdriver here and I'm going to put it there and we will see if I can get it to turn. And I'm going to try to get out of my own way here so that you can see what I'm doing. Let's try moving the light above, okay. Oh, there we go. So that allows me to turn this piece that has been stubborn. It has been very stubborn to move because at some point in its history, this thumb screw was either set and maybe it may have never been altered. It's very possible that the person who purchased this machine and the people who had it after it never used the feed dog lowering gear, and so it's just sat there. Again, I pointed out in a recent video, you know, this it seems interesting that so much of the oil here is amber. The machine would have been given a light coat, a very thin coat of machine oil to protect or prevent any kind of oxidation. But this is clearly the original because it's in this sort of amber bronze. It makes it look like bronze, but of course it's not. And let's see, and I'll give you another view here. Let's pull this closer up. We'll get a little bit more light on this. And what I'm doing is, you'll notice as I pull this out, I continue to loosen it, right? Now, what I've done, when I turn the machine this way, and if I can get my camera altered here, now you should be able to see what I was referring to earlier. Here is this hole, right? That's where this bolt was. And when you loosen and unscrew the thumb screw, then it should allow this to move. Now it's not moving very well, but let's see if we can. What normally will happen is that this piece here is able, if I can get that further out. Normally we want it to move, and it's still a bit stiff. And the idea behind this is to make sure that everything on the machine is functional. It's entirely possible that the person who gets this from me will never care to use the feed dog lowering section here. There it goes. Did you guys see that? I just kept wiggling, you know, and I was turning the hand wheel, getting it to move. Remember, these pieces have been sitting for a long time. I'm actually going to come in here and again, now that I've gotten some things to move, I'm going to put a little bit more of my valve oil here. And again, that is not my final lubricating method. You can see now, you can see what's happening, right? So when this lever comes all the way out, then the feed dogs are below the needle plate and they will stay there. And that was the whole point of this mechanism. And basically we just had old oil and the valve oil worked. Now, you might have something that's stuck so badly that the valve oil may not work. Now, I let this sit overnight. So it's had 12, 14 hours to do its magic. Sometimes you wait and it doesn't work. So then you can go to a different penetrant product. I find that typically the stronger the penetrant oil, the stronger the odor. But that's just my observation. I have no data to that effect. You might have a different experience. Now, you may be noticing, hey, do I need to get rid of this valve oil? Now that I've gotten the movement, do I mop it up? You know, you could mop it up, but honestly, when I say mop it up, I mean, you know, you can use things like cotton swabs to try to do that. But I'm not going to do that. Now that I've gotten things moving here, that should be fine, right? So watch, when I come in, now I'm going to go ahead and put just sewing machine oil. And I'm going to put it in these, I'm going to oil the underbody of the machine in a different video, but I just wanted to show you this section. Now, what else am I doing? Let's come back. Don't forget that this bolt was sitting in there with old oil. The valve oil helped loosen it. Now I'm going back with sewing machine oil. And you can see when I screw this in, you don't have to tighten it super tight, just thumb tight. You know, finger thumb tight is more than enough. And those feed dogs will stay exactly where they're supposed to, so you can do your normal sewing. And if you're not sure, has it taken, has it really loosened? Sure enough, I come here and look at that. I'm already able to continue the movement there, right? So that's it. That was the waking up of an old piece that may never have moved. Now you might be wondering, well, what about all this amber old oil? Remember, the old oil is a problem only when you have parts that are not able to move. Old oil acts kind of like a gum, like a sticky, almost like a varnish, and it causes metal parts to seize. It can be that strong. But once we have essentially dissolved the old oil by using, in this case, the valve oil, but any kind of penetrant that is a mixture of oil and solvent. Now, sometimes you may not even use the valve oil. You could put regular sewing machine oil, and you could add heat. That's one way to do it. But I decided to try the valve oil, and I'm very happy with that. So getting rid of the old oil, gummed up oil, has allowed the machine to move again. The reason I'm not taking any of this old oil off the surface of these parts is, you see, the old oil here does not interfere with the function of the machine at all. And it acts as a kind of coating, because it is a coating at this point. And just like it did when the machine was new, it can help prevent oxidation. So if I clean all this off, I'm going to need to go back with clear oil. And what's the main difference? These steel shafts will essentially be silver, but I'll still have to coat them with an oil to protect them from any future oxidation. So I have decided to leave that amber colored coating as a nice protectant for parts of the machine that don't need to, I'm not worried about getting them to move. So there you go, folks. That is the unlocking of the feed dog lowering mechanism on a Singer 201. If you have had run-ins with this, or maybe you didn't even know you had this ability, because a lot of sewers don't even think about it. Again, when I go through the machine, I'm not just cleaning lint and squirting oil in the machine. I'm going through the entire machine, because these machines are generations old, and they are so capable. They're not worn out. They're just sitting for long periods, just like automobiles. Internal combustion engine cars do not like to sit, and if you leave them to sit for a long time, they don't run properly. And the same can be true of sewing machines. So if you have a sewing machine that is running great, you don't have to use it every day, but I don't know. You guys tell me, how often do you think a sewing machine should be oiled and run? Even if it's for a little project, even just to test its stitching. It keeps your machine healthy, right? It's just like human body. We need to move our bodies to stay fit. Old sewing machines really benefit from at least occasional use. When they sit, some of these machines have been sitting for decades when I get them, and that's why they're so slow and cranky and sleepy until we wake them up. So anyway, if this was helpful to you, or maybe you just enjoyed watching sewing machine restoration videos, or if you believe in supporting my efforts here, please consider donating to the channel. You can click on any of my videos, have the link for Buy Me a Coffee. The homepage also has that link. It'll take you straight to my Buy Me a Coffee page, where you can donate and help support my efforts to save more of these old machines, because once they are brought back to life, and they have come back to life, you might say, they're ready for generations more of service, and then they're ready to sew. And you don't need me to tell you, any sewer who's ever used vintage machines, they know the kinds of stitches these machines can perform, and how strong the machines are. Anyway, thank you all for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time.